Hey, how much would it cost you to come over to Cambodia and get your place all set up and all that if you're going to stay here for, years or whatever? I don't know. I don't know because everybody's different. That all depends on your wants, needs, and desires, and of course your price point, how much money you got. But I'll be talking about two different kind of variations a little bit. I'm not going to like itemize everything, but I will have prices. Hey, prices on a lot of stuff. But it's like, living off of $1,000 a month here, which you absolutely can, or $2,000 a month. You got some more money, you want a bigger place or whatever. The first thing is before you even leave, and I've talked about this in other videos, but plan ahead. I'll just go through this really quick. Plan ahead, get all your administrative stuff, taken care of before you leave your home country, because sometimes it can be difficult setting certain things up once you're here in Cambodia. Think ahead on your plane tickets. 3 months out, start looking at the plane ticket, seeing something that you like. I advise watching out for real quick layovers. An hour layover, you just might not make it. I'm comfortable with a 3-hour layover because it saves wear and tear on the old ticker, And I'm just briefly talk about banks. It's advisable to have two different bank accounts from different banks and have them linked together so you can transfer money very easily from one to the other. And a little tip on that also is right before you leave, request to get new ATM cards or debit cards, because then they're going to be valid longer. Like one of mine is good until 2029, so I don't have to worry about that. And getting cards here, trust me, is a pain in the butt. Okay. Also your phone, if you're going to buy a new phone or whatever, if you have a phone with an eSIM that can have an eSIM, that's really nice. An eSIM and a SIM card slot. That way you can have your like a home number and stuff on your eSIM, and then you can just put in, like here I use Smart Card, so that'd be with a Cambodian number. And it's good to have that for like if you need two-factor authorization or whatever. I use Google Fi. There's other ones. It costs $20 a month, but I don't pay $20 a month because you can activate it and deactivate it and use it only when you need, two-factor authorization or whatever. That might be going away with Passkey. I'm not sure. And also figure out where and how you're going to get your money, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. First thing we'll talk about, other than what I just already talked about, is apartments, because that's very important, apartments. If you're on a budget, let's talk about a $200 apartment. You can get some nice $200 apartments, but it's going to be kind of limited on what you want. Generally, it'll be a studio, maybe a one-bedroom, and usually they're furnished, but sometimes they're only semi-furnished. They're not a serviced apartment, usually. I mean, there's always an exception to the rule. Service department is where they come in like once a week and clean things up for you. And generally, it's not going to have a pool. It's not going to have a gym or security, okay? And like I said, it could be semi-furnished, but there's things that you may need to buy afterwards, and I'll talk about a couple of those things with prices. Now, if you have a larger price point, let's say $600, it'll be a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. Oh yeah, also, do you even have a washer in a $200 apartment? It may be a shared washer, but anyways. A $600 apartment, you're generally going to have a pool, an elevator, which is helpful, especially if you're up on the 5th floor. If you want to stay in shape, there you go. But if you just can't handle them, several times a day or whatever, elevator's good. They could have a gym. It could be a very fundamental. It could be a very nice one. And it could be serviced where they come in and they clean up every week, or you can get maid service. The last place I got maid service, and it would cost $5 a week. She'd come in and spend 2 hours and just, really super, super clean. Even wash the windows, And of course, I'd always tip her because that money went to the apartment. And at $600, you're definitely going to have really good security from, from nighttime to the morning. There'll be somebody there, so that's always it's always a plus. And also your location. Okay, if you want to be real close to Sok San Road or Pub Street or something like that, those apartments are going to go for a little bit more than, because there's a higher demand for it, than let's say 4 or 5 kilometers away. So that's totally up to you. I mean, it's different for everybody, your wants and needs and desires. And now you think, well, maybe a house. I think about a house a lot, but is it furnished? That all depends. A lot of them are not. And let's go into the videos, and I'll show you 2 different places. We'll deal with that. Okay, now let me show you the difference between a $750 house and a $300 house. This is a $750. It's beautiful. I would love to live there. It's just gorgeous. Very, very good furnishing in there. You can definitely check this out. You can definitely get comfortable in there and have an enjoyable time. It's a 4-bedroom. I believe it's 4-bathroom. This place is just absolutely wonderful. An outside area, just to mellow out. And you also have a kind of an outdoor kitchen, indoor kitchen. It saves on wear and tear on the air conditioning. It keeps it really cool. Inside the house, there's your kitchen, a lot of space in there, and an office space. Oh, look at all those PowerPoints. And when you're relaxing, you got your own balcony separate from the house. And check this out, a pool. Oh my God, this place is gorgeous. Now here is a $300, yeah, kind of a fixer-upper looking, right? It's a 2-bedroom. You're going to have to buy mattresses. Those bed frames are built in, and like no furniture, no kitchen stuff, no refrigerator, no nothing. And furniture, you really can't call that furniture. And I'll save you I'll save you the pain. I won't show you anymore. But that's going to give you an example of the 2 differences in your price points. Okay, so now the house is there, I mean, you have your setup. Do you have to set up electricity? Do you have to, get the electricity company and put it in your name or not? Same with the Wi-Fi. Does it have a washer? Does it have a fridge? You've seen in those videos, sometimes they have absolutely nothing. My suggestion would be go through an apartment locator service. I've been through IPS, and I've mentioned them several times. They're great. And even before you get here, hop on IPS and take a look at apartments that you think you might be interested in to get an idea of what is available in your price point and what amenities and stuff, and that just can help you budget a little bit better. Check them out. They're great. I've used them 3 times already. Even with a furnished apartment, there may be things that you may want to buy. I know some of these I bought. It may or may not have a microwave. I know I like microwaves. It makes cooking a lot easier. Make up a big old pot of spaghetti and you'll have it for 3 days, and you just microwave it up. That's much easier. You can get one of those for about $70. Okay. The next thing would be like an air fryer. If you like cooking and use an air fryer, I bought one because of my Crohn's disease, and I don't want to eat everything that's deep fried or whatever, and a lot of the foods here, Khmer foods, are deep fried. So it's kind of healthier and safer for some people to get air fryer. That would be $90. Yeah, I know, killed me for an air fryer. Also a rice cooker, if you want a rice cooker. Yeah, you may not want a rice cooker, but that would run for about $35 for a good rice cooker. Also a coffee pot. If you like your fresh brewed coffee, you can get a coffee pot, $20, $30, $40, depends on what you want. Or if you just use instant coffee, one of those kettles, put on a stove, $5, $10, or an electric one. I suggest don't buy the cheap one that they're selling around here, because you'll go through them about every 3 or 4 months like we have. So we went out and paid like double for one of those, and I think it was like about $30. And it's still working really, really good. So, and other little things that you might need, even in an apartment that's totally furnished, is kitchen stuff. All that was kitchen stuff anyways, but other things like pots and pans and knives and forks. One place I moved in, I was fully furnished. It even had a microwave, but it had 2 plates, 2 bowls, 2 cups, 2 spoons, 2 forks. Get my drift. So you might want to buy the little things. You might want to get something like a dish rack to dry your dishes, and I mean, you can get all that stuff at the big stores. All one-stop shop. But if you're on a budget and you don't mind walking around and looking for the mom and pops that have all this kind of kitchen stuff, plus other things, bedroom stuffs and all that, you can get them much cheaper. And also, just by walking around, then you can get the lay of the land of the area that you're living in. Now, by popular demand, I want to talk about motos and cars. First, let me talk about cars. I don't know any expat that owns a car. They're just crazy. Okay, and I'll tell you one reason. You have to have a license. I'll tell you about that real quick. But for motorbikes, I got prices for 3 brand new different motorbikes. The number one bike here in Cambodia is like the Honda Dream, and that's a 125cc, and that will run you about $2,300 brand new. Okay, and then you got the Honda Click, which is an automatic, and that'll run you about $2,750. Okay, and that's, you know, more parts to fix, but you know, if you get it brand new, you're really not worrying about that for a while. And then I want to talk about the Honda PCX, and you can get the Honda PCX in 125 cc's. That would be used, though. They don't make them like that anymore, from what I understand. But like the 150 cc's and 160 cc's, you can still get. And a PCX 150 would run you $4,300 brand new, and they were saying something about like a $600 destination charge. I really don't know what that is. It's just, that's what popped up when I researched it. And also, anything over a 125cc, you're required to have a Cambodian driver's license, and that's a little bit involved to get, difficult. You actually have to go down to Phnom Penh to do it and take the test and paperwork. And so, but if you want a bigger moto, that's what you're going to have to do to be legal with it. And I'm going to talk about insurance. I have insurance on my my Honda Click, which I bought used for $1,550, and the insurance for that it started out at $122 a year. Hey. And then each year it goes down if you don't have an accident or something. Each year it goes down by, like, I think 10%. So that's nice. So it's kind of, you know, it's going to be calculated on how much the price that you paid for the motorbike. So it's going to vary again. If you buy a brand new one, it's going to be, you know, twice as much, whatever. I don't know, but you'd have to check. But for mine, that 1,550, it was well, now it's $102 a year, like that. And I know, while we're talking about insurance, I'm not going to talk about health insurance. It's different for everybody, and it's so complex. If you're really looking into health insurance here, you got to do your own due diligence on that, and like you should on the banking. Definitely get your banking taken care of and all that before you come here. Well, that was a town called Lovia, and it's my favorite village. And y'all wanted to see a village? Well, there it was. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still here, you are my #1 fans, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.